and really be careful with that groin and quad injury as she comes back.
Yeah, Holly, she's had soft tissue issues with the left leg also.
August 12, 2025, wasn't just another date on the WNBA calendar. It was a night circled in bold by fans, players, and analysts alike. Because whenever the Dallas Wings and the Indiana Fever meet, something memorable always happens, and in the week leading up to this showdown, the sports world was buzzing with anticipation, media outlets replaying highlights from their last meeting, debating matchups, and dissecting every stat while social media became a battlefield of banter, with Fever Nation flooding timelines with clips of Caitlin Clark's no-look assists and logo threes, and Dallas supporters countering with monster blocks and clutch shots from their own stars, so that by the time the team buses rolled up to the arena, a palpable electricity had already gripped the city. Fans began lining up outside hours before tip-off, some draped in fever gold, others proudly rocking Wings teal, holding handmade signs, face paint, and phones ready to capture every moment, and the hum of conversations mixed with the smell of popcorn, arena nachos, and fresh coffee from vendors stationed by the entrance. All underscored by the rhythmic beat of music pumping from inside the Fever locker room. Head coach Stephanie White stood at the center, her voice steady but firm as she reminded her players about the physicality Dallas would bring, the need to box out hard, stay disciplined on defense, and trust the ball movement that had been their weapon all season, and Caitlin Clark, sitting quietly lacing up her shoes, nodded with that laser-focused expression she's become known for. The one that says she's already visualizing every pass, every shot, every cut. Meanwhile, in the Dallas locker room, their coach stressed composure and pace, knowing that silencing a road crowd this loud required early blows and relentless hustle. And their veterans huddled around their young guards, giving last-minute tips, clapping backs, building that shared sense of mission, because to them, this was more than a regular season game. It was a chance to disrupt the Fever's momentum and prove their own dominance. When the lights dimmed for player introductions, the roar that erupted felt like it shook the rafters. Each Fever starter greeted with cheers that bordered on deafening. Each Wings starter met with a wave of boos and playful jeers, and when Caitlin Clark's name was called, the MP chant rolled like a wave through the crowd, sending chills up the spines of even neutral observers. The opening tip went up, the Wings controlled it, and within seconds they attacked. Their point guard slicing through the lane for a high layup that banked in off glass, setting the tone that Dallas wasn't going to be intimidated, but on the very next possession, Clark curled off a high screen from Aaliyah Boston, caught the ball in rhythm several feet beyond the arc, and let fly with a three that hit nothing but net. The sound of the swish nearly drowned out by the eruption from the stands. From there, the first quarter became a seesaw of styles, Indiana spacing the floor beautifully, running crisp pick-and-rolls, feeding shooters in the corners, while Dallas pounded the paint, attacking the rim and punishing any missed rotations, crashing the offensive boards to create second-chance points. Boston rejected a Dallas drive with a ferocious block that drew gasps and sparked. A fast break finished by Kelsey Mitchell's reverse layup, but Dallas answered with a deep three from the wing, and the energy in the building was a constant tidal push and pull. Clark, already with multiple assists in the first few minutes, began reading the defense like a chessboard, threading passes through impossible windows, while Dallas countered by throwing length and traps at her, trying to force the ball out of her hands. The crowd rose to its feet when Clark hit a step-back jumper over an outstretched defender's hand, only 2 grown seconds later when Dallas answered with a tough and-one finish through contact. As the second quarter opened, the pace somehow quickened. Dallas's bench, sparking a mini-run with aggressive defense and transition buckets, forcing White to call a timeout and rally her group, reminding them to stay patient and get back to the fundamentals. Coming out of the timeout, Indiana executed a perfect set, Clark drawing 2 defenders before ripping a no-look bounce pass to Boston for the easy win, a play that sent the bench into a frenzy. Midway through the second, a sequence of pure chaos unfolded, Dallas missing a floater, Boston snaring the rebound, Clark pushing the break, the cross-court pass to Mitchell, the three, good. The roof nearly came off, but in the blink of an eye, Dallas came right back, with a quick outlet pass leading to a layup. And suddenly both teams were trading buckets in a blur, the scoreboard barely able to keep up. Halftime arrived with the score almost even, the crowd buzzing with that restless energy of knowing something special was brewing. And in the locker rooms, Strategies were tweaked, Indiana planning to free Clark with more off-ball action, Dallas focusing on hitting the offensive glass even harder. The third quarter exploded right out of the gate. Indiana going on a 7-0 run capped by a Clark Tumichulu loop in transition that had the building rocking. But Dallas responded with a 10-2 run fueled by smothering defense and sharp shooting, forcing yet another timeout as the Wings bench erupted. Tempers flared after a hard foul under the rim. Players jawing, refs stepping in. The crowd feeding off every ounce of drama, and each possession began to feel heavier, as if the outcome of the season rested on these minutes. The fourth quarter was pure theater, every pass contested, every rebound fought for like it was the last. Clark hitting a high-arcing floater, Dallas's star forward drilling a mid-range dagger, Boston muscling in a second-chance bucket, and still, neither side giving an inch. Then came the final minute. The air so thick with tension you could almost taste it. The crowd standing as Clark brought the ball up, clock ticking down. Tied game. Her defender crouched low, ready. But with a lightning-quick crossover and a hard step back, Clark created just enough space to launch a deep three that seemed to hang in the air forever before splashing through. The eruption of sound so loud it rattled the cameras. Dallas called timeout, drew up one last play. The ball, inbounded to their sharpshooter, the defense swarming, the shot going up at the buzzer short, the rebound secured by Boston as the horn sounded, sealing a statement win for the Fever. The celebration was instant and wild. Teammates mopping Clark, fans screaming, high fives flying, and social media instantly flooded with clips of the game winner. Debate shows already lining it up as one of the season's defining moments. In the post-game presser, Clark deflected praise to her teammates, her humility contrasting with the highlight reels looping her heroics on every sports channel, while Dallas vowed to remember this sting and use it as fuel, as fans slowly trickled out into the night. Many still replaying the moment on their phones. One thing was certain, this wasn't just another win or loss. It was a game etched into the memory of everyone who witnessed it, a perfect storm of skill, heart, rivalry, and drama that proved, yet again, why nights like this are the reason we love basketball.
The footwork from Lee Rue having a huge game off the bench. Every single playoff game will be on.
Yes, ChatGPT said. The sound inside the arena after Caitlin Clark's game winner was not just loud, it was the kind of earth-shaking, chest-thumping roar that makes your ears ring and your voice disappear even if you didn't realize you were screaming, a wall of sound that washed over the court and lingered long after the final buzzer, as fans jumped in place, hugged complete strangers, and spilled their drinks without even noticing. The moment so pure and electric that for a few heartbeats it felt like time had frozen with the Fever players still in mid-celebration. Arms raised, smiles stretched wide, and the Dallas Wings players frozen in the agony of being a split second, and one defensive misstep away from flipping the script, as Boston secured that final rebound and flung the ball high into the air. Clark found herself swarmed from all directions, teammates sprinting in from the bench, Aaliyah Boston wrapping her in a bear hug, Kelsey Mitchell pounding her on the back, even reserve players who hadn't touched the floor in the fourth quarter charging in like they'd just won the championship, while Clark, grinning and almost overwhelmed, tried to catch her breath and absorb what had just happened, the reality that she had once again delivered a dagger in front of a national audience. Settling in as camera flashes lit up her every move, the Dallas players, to their credit, didn't sulk or storm off, but the looks on their faces told the whole story. They had battled possession for possession. They had survived hostile territory for 39 minutes and 40 seconds, and yet one perfect shot had undone everything, leaving them to trudge toward the tunnel with heads bowed and hands on hips. Their coach offering a few quick words of encouragement before disappearing down the hallway. Meanwhile, Fever Nation was refusing to let the night end, the crowd still chanting MVP, and Let's Go Fever. Even as the players made their way toward the locker room, and fans pressed against the barriers hoping for hype or selfies. With kids on their parents' shoulders waving miniature Fever flags like they'd just seen their heroes up close in a movie. Inside the Indiana locker room, the celebration was instant and unrestrained music blasted from a Bluetooth speaker in the corner. Someone tossed a bottle of sports drink in the air that sprayed over half the room, and Clark was mobbed again. As soon as she walked in, the veterans pulling her into the middle of the circle for the post-win chant that echoed off the walls. The voices bouncing back with the giddy energy of a group that knew they had just done something special. The coaching staff smiled from the side, letting the players enjoy the moment. while a couple of assistants quietly updated the stat boards, showing Clark's near triple-double, Boston's dominance on the boards, and the Fever's season best shooting percentage against one of the league's toughest defenses. Numbers that told a story almost as powerful as the eye test. Clark, finally able to sit, draped a towel over her head for a few seconds just to breathe, and when she lifted it again, she found a TV camera already on her, capturing that mix of exhaustion and exhilaration that comes only after you've given everything and been rewarded with victory. Across the arena, in the quieter, heavier air of the Dallas locker room, the tone was different. Their coach emphasized that this wasn't the end of the road, that they had proven they could go toe-to-toe with one of the league's hottest teams, that the playoffs were still ahead and this loss could be the fuel they needed. And the players listened, some nodding, some staring at the floor, replaying those final seconds in their heads. Knowing how small the margins had been, as the media filtered in, both locker rooms became a flurry of interviews, microphones, and flashing lights, reporters eager to get every quote that might go viral by morning. Clark, always composed, deflected credit toward her teammates, talking about Boston's screens, Mitchell's spacing, and the crowd's energy, saying that without those elements, the shot doesn't happen, while social media was already exploding with slow-motion replays of her crossover and release, paired with captions like cold-blooded, and this is her league now, and hashtags like hashtag Clark Effect and hashtag Fever Rising were climbing the trending charts within minutes. Analysts on national TV were already debating where this ranked among the most clutch regular season moments in WNBA history, with some comparing it to Diana Taurasi's late-game heroics, and others noting that Clark was doing this as a rookie, under more defensive attention than almost anyone in the league. Outside the arena, fans lingered long after security began urging them toward